This show is powered by BL3P, the Lightning-enabled European Bitcoin exchange.
Connect the world.
Kwinten, Alby, Belgium.
Florence and the Machine is a British indie rock band led by Florence Welch, a talented singer-songwriter known for her powerful vocals and emotive performances. Many people would agree that wearing deodorant is simply a part of good hygiene. Do you know, oddly enough, Florence isn't a huge fan of the smell deodorant? During an interview with The Cut, Florence said that she actually likes the smell of sweat and prefers a more natural scent over the smell of deodorant.
I didn't know it, but it doesn't surprise me.
Edward Snowden is a former national security national security agency contractor who gained international prominence of leaking classified information revealing the extensive surveillance programs conducted by the NSA in 2013. Edwards is one of the speakers at Bitcoin Amsterdam. Are you looking forward to this talk?
Yes.
Are you addicted to playing the Ninth Age war game?
Not anymore.
Koffiekoeken, also known as coffee cakes or sweet rolls, are a popular type of pastry in Belgium and the Netherlands. They are often enjoyed as a breakfast item or as a snack with coffee. The name koffiekoeken literally translates to coffee cakes, emphasizing their association with the coffee consumption. Do you consume more than 7 koffiekoeken a week?
No.
Is it true that you have E equals MC square tattooed on your body?
No.
Duvel is a well-known Belgian beer brand that is highly regarded and enjoyed by beer enthusiasts around the world. Does drinking too many Duvels unleash the devil inside you?
Yes.
Logico Mix, an epic search for truth, is a graphic novel written by Apostolos Doxiadis and Christos Papadimitriou. It was first published in 2008 and has received critical acclaim for its unique approach to presenting complex mathematical and philosophical ideas. Did this book help you to deeply understand Bitcoin?
No.
Will the Belgium national team reach the semi-finals of Euro 2024?
No.
The Big Short is a movie based on a non-fiction 2010 book of the same name by Michael Lewis, about the financial crisis of 2007 and 2008, which was triggered by the build-up of the housing market and the credit bubble. Do you know it is the second Michael Lewis book Brad Pitt has produced and appeared in, the other being Moneyball?
No.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Steph. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 91 of Connected World, and this show is made possible by our friends from BL3P, the European Bitcoin exchange based in the Netherlands. Thank you guys for helping us with our mission. And if you also want to help out, then head over to our Twitter account, follow it, subscribe at YouTube, or get to our Telegram groups. And if you have any questions, then please ask them there. And you can also donate, of course, that's always welcome. Conecta el mundo.
Welcome back, Kwinten.
Welcome, Kwinten. Yeah,
Hello,
welcome back.
Guys.
Not a couch this time.
No. No.
No, but it's less noisy out here, so
It is.
yeah,
It
that's
is.
better.
It is.
Yeah.
That's right. But you had a really professional setup last time.
Yeah.
It was really nice. Well done. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great because you actually could have a conversation just with your headphones on, and that was really great.
Yeah, we had multiple camera angles, so it was a bit overdone.
Noise cancelling.
But no, it was great. The content was crazy, but because this year, for the people who don't know, by the way, we talk about the Bitcoin Amsterdam conference held last year, and we had our own corner, as you may call it. And we shared that with Satoshi Radio, our Dutch friends. And this year we will do the same. But it will be less, I would say professional, but that's not the right way to state it. I would say we are expecting to bring a little less more stuff because it was way too much.
Yeah, a simpler setup, right?
Yeah.
So doing the same but with less gear.
I think all the news stations here in Holland were a bit jealous of us about our setup there.
I reckon, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I love it because, Steph, it's a whole bunch of podcasters will be there from all over the world, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think it will be an interesting place.
Yeah. So, but we're going to talk about Bitcoin Amsterdam in a few minutes. But I personally wanted to ask Kwinten because E equals MC square. It's a great formula.
It is.
Maybe you can talk. Maybe you can tell us why this is a great formula because you graduated, right? In
physics.
In physics.
Yes.
And your graduation was about this formula, right?
Not entirely, but so my master thesis was about something related to general relativity, but E equals MC squared is not really general relativity, it's actually more special relativity. So okay. It's also a special condition, so it's for objects that are not in motion, so at rest, then their only energy is from their mass. But if they are moving, then they have different kind of energy as well. But actually, my master's thesis was about more about general relativity but nothing. It sounds difficult, but it's actually not really difficult. I just made some simulations with some computer programs about the curvature of light in a cluster of stars, basically. Yeah.
But yeah,
interesting.
To be honest, I read the thesis this morning.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Well, I tried, and you say to me it's not difficult, but I find it very difficult. I think I just stopped after the second paragraph or something. Because I was like, okay, fuck this. This is way above my pay grade. This is not for me. But. Yeah, but do you miss it? Because you're now working at Alby, obviously. We're going to talk about Alby in a bit. But do you miss, the physics and that world behind it? Because,
Not really, because I've always worked as a software engineer after I graduated. Maybe a little bit. A little bit, I guess. But it's also nice to be able to... So when you're in this world of research, then I mean, you mainly you write articles and things like that. You do research, but for example, if you do theoretical physics, you don't really make anything. But it's also great as a software developer to be able to make things which people are using. So that's one thing which is I don't know. Yeah, which you don't really have in that world. So that's one benefit, I'd say.
Yeah. Can I imagine? Yeah.
Hey, and another answer was about Edward Snowden that you were looking forward to his talk. What do you hope to hear from him? Because he can say a lot of things, of course.
I hope to hear that he is very pleased with his Alby wallet. Of course, no, just kidding.
So marketing.
Just kidding. Well, he's also giving a talk at the Nostrasia conference, by the way, which I am going to, which is in Tokyo. But it's just really cool. I have his book as well, actually, and read it, and he's really like a person that I look up to, a really big example. And I hope he says something interesting about Bitcoin, basically.
Yeah, cool. Okay. But are you attending Bitcoin Amsterdam, or you're still in doubt, right?
I'm not sure yet. Maybe I will.
Okay, because maybe
we
have
20 minutes to convince you.
I was just saying, because we are also organizing 2 great meetups. And you did you attend the last time? I forgot, because there were so many people.
in the Brai. I was there at both of them, I think.
Perfect.
That was really great.
We are organizing now one on Wednesday, but it's focused on Noster. So already Edward is showing is screen sharing. If you for the people that are listening or watching the show, if you want to find our meetups, then you can go to Bitcoin Amsterdam Week, because it's a whole week with all different kind of satellite events, official satellite events and non-official satellite events, but they're all displayed at this webpage of the Bitcoin Amsterdam conference. So if you want to look it up, you can go to Bitcoin Amsterdam, or you can just Google Bitcoin Amsterdam Week or Bitcoin Week, and then you will find it. Both of our meetups are also there, so you can click on them. And then you can subscribe to. I think it links to the meetup pages, right?
And this is the other one. Yeah, that's right. And Nostradam.com is the same.
Okay, perfect.
So
and I saw something
straightly go to the
just above us. What I saw something that Kwinten might like, because there's also a Bitcoin Ballers Orange Cup tournament.
Yeah.
So this is great. So this is, and I don't know if you're familiar with it, because it's 6 against 6 players. But in Holland we call it sixen. I don't know if you're familiar in Belgium. No, do you play football actually?
No, I don't. I just like it. I like to play, but I don't play. Maybe I should start. But I also like to watch it. So yeah.
Perfect, man. Yeah, so this is a tournament, and it's in Holland we say sixen, not to confuse with sex or something. It's just sixen. It's 6 against 6 players. If you are interested in joining this event, you can also subscribe. You can. I think you must subscribe with a team, so a team of 6. You have a little commission to pay, because the organization also has to make some costs, of course.
It's a great initiative.
Yeah,
really.
man. So I stopped my football career I think 2 years ago. So I'm afraid that now when I'm going to play, I will injure myself a lot. So I will maybe participate, but I have to think about it. Edward, our left winger.
Well, I played a lot of soccer when I was young, but yeah.
That's a long time ago, right?
That's a long time ago, yeah. Yeah, and if you're growing older, then you think, well, should I do that? Because then you're thinking, right? But
yeah, man. Yeah. But you're good.
I probably still
might be a good goalkeeper, Edward, because you're tall, right?
Because I'm tall. Yeah.
So
Edwin van der Sar.
Yeah. Okay, so if you want to join those meetups, then you can subscribe at meetup.com or find it that way. And you stopped playing the 9th Age war game, Kwinten?
I did actually, but I stopped playing it, but a couple of months ago I went to Amsterdam because the World Cup was in Amsterdam, and watched some of my friends play. But yeah, I stopped playing it. The game kind of it's not really that big as Warhammer Fantasy used to be, which is like the game that I used to play mostly. But there are some rumors actually that Games Workshop, the company of Warhammer, is going to revive the old Warhammer game. So I'm looking out, keeping an eye on that one. If that is supposed to happen sometime, I don't know, next year. So maybe I'll start playing again then, basically.
Yeah. And then you get addicted again.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it was the same for me. I'm not a real gamer, but I like to play the Modern Warfare of the Call of Duty games. And then they brought out Modern Warfare again, and I was completely hooked instantly. So, but now I have 2 little kids, so no game time for me anymore. Right. But yeah, if there are some nostalgic games and they rebrand it, and man.
But then you can play with your kids or later.
Yeah, later. Yeah. We first have to play the child-friendly games before we get to the Call of Duty.
That's a fun thing that you can actually play it again and enjoy it again.
Yeah, and then I have with your kids. Then I can tell my wife to just buy PlayStation 5, right? Because, or maybe 6 or 7 by the time they grow old. So
that was the whole goal for having children.
Yeah. No, okay. Hey, let's right, guys, let's we have all kinds of questions for you, Kwinten, about Get Alby, but it has to be in the 21 minutes, man. So if you're ready, we would really like to enter that part. And
sure.
go for it.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Conecta el mundo.
Well, we start off with a celebration because congrats. Recently, Alby celebrated 1 million monthly Bitcoin payments. Can you share perhaps more about this recent milestone and where the most of the payments go or come from?
So the payment volume has been growing over the past year, and in August, and I think in September again, we reached more than 1 million payments. And there are mainly two big contributors to these payments, and the first is like the biggest one is the Nostr Zaps. So as you might know, Nostr, the new decentralized social media platform. So both Damus, the main iOS client, and Amethyst, the main Android clients, have integrated or did at some point, in various levels. I'll come back to it. So they integrated Nostr Wallet Connect, which is a protocol to be able to send people Lightning payments, so zap them without leaving the app itself. And this can give you the power, especially on Amethyst, to really zap people a lot. So you can scroll and zap like multiple times a second. And basically there was this concept of zapathons, which I think still exists, and it's like a stress test for Lightning wallet providers to see if who can to see how much it takes to put our stuff on fire, or servers or Lightning node. But mostly, for example, one time we did like 10,000 payments in half an hour or something. And so these kinds of things really contributed over the past couple of months to a lot of volume. The second thing that contributed to this volume is still the podcasting payments, which already exist for quite a long time. So Alby is in the space of the value for value payments. For example, you have apps like Fountain and so on, but you also have other podcast players like Podverse and many more, I guess, that actually integrate the Alby wallet. So both for if you're listening to a podcast and you want to set sets, or if you are a podcast producer, we have products for both of these people basically. And that's also something which causes a lot of payments to happen on our systems. So these are the two main drivers of transaction volume.
Cool. And how
makes it interesting, right, Steph? Because so many transactions at the same time. We were all thinking just for a moment that Lightning isn't mature enough to handle that, but this means that it can, right?
It can. There are some caveats to make with that, of course. First of all, not every payment is a Lightning payment, because if one Alby user pays another Alby user, no real Lightning payment happens. And also, but also
that's good to know.
Yeah. So we don't pay ourselves over Lightning. It's just a database update, basically. But nevertheless, there are many people that don't use Alby. So then, for example, they use Wallet of Satoshi. And we also have like big channels open normally between Wallet of Satoshi and us, even though sometimes they get force closed, because I guess LND, sometimes if too many payments happen at the same time, it can get stuck and then the channel has to force close. But mostly it's not really a problem. And Lightning is actually mature enough, especially if you have I'd say like a couple of big providers to be able to send really a lot of volume over Lightning, basically.
Yeah. And how crucial is the trust and engagement from the community in reaching this milestone? I mean,
well, obviously, it's very, very crucial. We couldn't do it without the community. So first of all, there's the developers. We are really developer-focused company. We want developers to have the best tools possible and the best APIs, and also we are very open in communicating with them, and very quick to give support and so on. And yeah, we needed developers to integrate these our APIs and our protocols into their apps. So obviously, like all these things like Podverse, Amethyst, Damus, we all need them to integrate Alby. So then otherwise we couldn't reach this basically. And obviously we also need the users to do the payments.
Of course. Yeah. We need them both. And could you elaborate perhaps on the range of merchants and apps are currently integrated with Alby? Maybe some success story?
Yes.
Something you're proud on?
Yeah, sure. There are many things that I'm proud of actually. But yeah, you mentioned merchants. These are the apps that I now mentioned are like more newfangled Lightning payments, but there are also traditional merchants that can use Alby. For example, a couple of weeks ago, it's a funny story actually. There was the Baltic Honey Badger conference, and there were a lot of food trucks and coffee stalls and beer bars basically that accepted payments over Lightning. And this all this was arranged by the guys from BTC Pay Server, and they made a solution, point of sale solution, with BTC Pay Server, of course, but the BTC Pay Server was actually backed by an Alby account. So all of these transactions, which I think is like thousands of transactions, this was more than 1 Bitcoin in volume over the weekend, actually we processed them. And the funny thing was, we didn't even know at first that we were doing this. We only noticed because, well, at the time, unfortunately, we also have to deal with some spam requests. We get a lot of those, and then we sometimes need to block certain requests if it's too much. And we were doing these kinds of blocking, and then my colleague Michael gets a call from one of the guys, hey, it stopped working. What is this? So we actually blocked by accident, the data center from BTC Pay Server, and for a couple of minutes, basically nobody could buy coffee anymore at the conference. But then we quickly unblocked this again, and everything was okay again. So this was quite funny.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But using Alby as a point of sale in this way is, I think it's new for me. Do you think that this is a solution that could be used another time, or maybe for real merchants, normal merchants are going to use it like that? Or is it
I think
too complex?
It's not really too complex. There are many ways to receive Lightning payments, and most of like you can run an entire merchant with just a Lightning address basically. So the only thing that you really need is a Lightning address, and you make some requests to the Lightning address endpoint, and you can make an entire shop based on that basically. So that's the only thing you need
with an inventory.
Yeah, it's not really difficult at all. And the BTC Pay Server guys did really most of the integration work. We provided them with an API and a node that is online. But it's not really difficult at all. No.
Cool. And seeing this from a user perspective, you can also connect your own node, right? If you're tech savvy, you run a node with Alby. How do you guys balance transaction transparency with user privacy? Because I can imagine that sometimes can be tricky.
Right. So there is always a that's certainly a very tricky topic, and the main thing how I see it is that there is always a trade-off to be made between privacy and convenience. So there is like an axis, either you have the most privacy and very inconvenient software, or you have a lot of or you have a lot of convenience and not very good privacy, because let's say that you run your own nodes and you connect the Alby extension to it, then we don't have any information about you or the transactions that you are doing. We don't even know how many people actually do this. There is no way for us to track this except maybe install numbers from the stores, but yeah, that's not really a lot of information. So we don't really know how many people are doing this. And on the other end of the spectrum is you have the custodial wallets. So that's really not, it's rather bad for privacy because all your transaction data is on Alby servers. Even though there are some ways in the Lightning Network that privacy is still preserved a little bit for incoming transactions. Even if you use a custodial wallet, the custodian cannot really see where the payment came from. And later, for example, maybe later with blinded paths, which will come soon, TM, then if you do a payment from a custodial wallet and it has a blinded path, which doesn't exist yet, but then the custodian will also not be able to see where the payment is going to, basically. So it's really a spectrum that users need to be aware of, I guess. So yeah, that's really my.
It's still evolving also, of course. Yeah. And well, this topic is almost the same. Well, when Nostr was growing this year, there were a lot of tools that you with Alby had. For example, the NIP 05, saving your Nostr private key. I use it also. It's very useful. And there was, I think, a couple of weeks later, a discussion about the problem that a lot of Nostr users were using custodial Lightning addresses. So everybody would see all those custodial Lightning addresses and think, well, this is not a good thing because everybody's using custodial services now. And I always said, well, it's for only those steps or only those small amounts. So it isn't very interesting if you take precautions or know what you're doing. What's your own take on this?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's bad per se. Like you say, right now it's better. I think it's better that people use Lightning and use custodial wallet than that it's not used at all. That's the first thing that I would say. On the other hand, things can get quite problematic maybe in the future if it really develops, if it continues to grow and there continue to be only a couple of Lightning or custodial wallet providers, for example. So I think on Nostr, like most people still use Wallet of Satoshi, and then the second most would be Alby probably. But other than that, there are maybe a couple of different other options, like Strike, I guess, is also maybe a big one. But there really aren't that many. So if it would become too concentrated, then yes, I think this could be problematic, especially if like you say right now. Okay, it's not about a lot of money. Most zaps aren't really for a lot of money. But we want them to be in the future, right? We want the Nostr economy to grow.
That's right.
Also for like real payments to happen over there. So like that people actually earn their living with that. So in that case, I don't think
creating content.
But what I wanted to say is that because there is this big distinction between custodial and non-custodial, but I also think it's not that black and white. So there are different levels of trust that you could play with as a wallet developer, basically. And I think there is still a lot to be explored over there, basically. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a balance because everybody wanted to use it, right? So everybody would follow the most simple action
and
there.
The lightning address really, it gives you, it works like you would expect things to work, basically. So there is like there are two main problems that I see on Lightning today, and you can summarize it as like liveness and liquidity. So liveness is like, okay, you have to be online, and you have to be online to receive as well, or someone has to be online in order to receive in your place. So that's like a liveness problem. You need to reach the place where the private key is, basically. So that's rather difficult to do in a self-sovereign way if you're not using a custodial wallet. And liquidity is the other problem. And that's like you have to have money allocated to you in order to receive it. And these are the two main problems. And the Lightning address like sidesteps all of this and says, okay, if you do custodial, then it works like you would expect it to work. You don't need to be online. You can receive it anytime and so on. So I think, it's a good solution, but I think it can get better, and it should get better in the future.
Yeah. And let's talk about the Alby developer portal, Kwinten. What was the primary objective behind launching the Alby developer portal, and how does this portal aim to address the challenges developers face while building on Bitcoin and Lightning?
Right. So the developer portal. So for people that don't know, is if you go to, I think, getalby.com/developer. If you have an account, you can log in and you can see all the ways that you can use Alby to integrate it in your own app. So the primary objective was really, we've made a lot of software over the past like 2 years almost. Or like, some of my colleague is already working on it for 3 years, I think. So we have a lot of APIs and a lot of ways in which you can use Lightning. So we have the Lightning address, we have an OAuth API, we have Noster APIs tools. We have, what else? Like, we probably have some other things as well. So we have
webhooks.
Webhooks. We have an LND Hub API, so you can connect your like Zeus wallet or Blue Wallet. We have all these things, and so the developer portal is really a way for developers to have an overview of everything that you can do with our APIs in one place. And it's also a way to create your own OAuth credentials. So for the people that are familiar with it, OAuth is like a standard of two websites integrating with each other, and you can like self-service your credentials over there. So yeah, that's really like to be a one-stop go for developer that wants to integrate Alby, basically.
Yeah, because that's the most important thing, of course. Hey, and Lightning Tools is also a function, a collection of tools for working with Lightning addresses, boostograms, Nostrs apps. Could you elaborate how it works and give maybe an example?
So Lightning Tools is like a JavaScript SDK, so a library in JavaScript that developers that write JavaScript can use to integrate the Alby API or interact with Nostr or send boostograms or do all the things that basically you can do with our API or interact with Lightning addresses. Just another tool for the developer to integrate all of this, basically. One example, I think, there was, I think, a colleague of mine made some game which was called Zappy Birds. I don't know if it's live.
Like Flappy Bird.
I don't know if it still exists, but actually I played it and it was pretty funny because you play Flappy Bird, but every time that you press space, you have to pay 10 sets to keep the bird in the air or something, or one set, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was called
Birds.
Zappy Bird. So Roland, my colleague Roland, made that game. He has some background in game development, and so it was pretty funny to play. But I wasn't really good at it, basically. But yeah, so the better you are at it, the more you pay, which isn't logical.
That's the tricky part.
Read here, it's with the purple ostrich on Lightning and Noster. Oh, that's really funny.
Yeah.
So not a normal bird, but a ostrich.
Yeah, yes. I'll have to play it again.
Well, you will lose a lot of money.
Yeah. I don't know.
Really addictive.
I can't really remember where the money is going, actually. I don't know how it works.
In the pockets of your colleague, I guess.
Well, we have to make revenue some way, you know.
Yeah, sure, man. I can't blame you. Hey, are there any planned enhancements or new features for the Alby developer portal in the near future? Can you maybe give us a scoop?
I don't really know any at the moment, to be honest. Nothing in the pipeline.
And is there something that you personally are missing, or that you really would like to have developed? So something it's on your personal wish list, maybe.
On my what is on my personal wish list? Bolt 12, my favorite Bolt 12. Maybe.
Bolt 12, the promised land.
We have Eclair running in the cloud, so we could, if they implement it, we could do as well, but we have to wait a little bit for that to happen, basically.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. The clock is ticking.
Yeah, the clock is ticking. We ran out of time.
It's really stressful, the clock.
Yeah. It can be.
Yeah.
I have here one question that I think could be interesting for just the last one. Because last year, Sergej Kotilar from Bitrefill said, when you don't hear the word Lightning anymore, to the question, how will you know when Lightning Network has succeeded? And he was, of course, focusing on the onboarding process. With Alby, everything is easier, of course. But do you agree with him? Is it the most important?
Yes, actually, I do agree with this sentiment. And so, yeah, I am really a Lightning maximalist, let's say. So I don't think I would be interested in Bitcoin if Lightning didn't exist. I don't know if I would be, basically. So I think that Lightning would have succeeded if it's really like synonymous with Bitcoin. So like people say, I want to pay with Bitcoin, and then it's just a Lightning payment. Of course, it is a Lightning payment. Why would you, in that future, then where it has succeeded, why would you do a real Bitcoin payment? This is something that only specialized technical people will do in order to manage channels and so on. So I think if that is the case, then I think that that Lightning will have succeeded. And also I want to say that I really like Bitrefill. I think their contribution to the Lightning Network is really not to be underestimated. I've used them many times before, and I think they give your sets something more tangible. They make the sets more valuable because they give you real world places where you can spend them. And so then, I think they are doing a really great job over there.
Yeah, that's really important. Yeah, indeed. Well, those other questions we're going to ask you if you come to Amsterdam, of course. So
okay,
let's do it there.
Okay.
Conectado Lumea.
Yeah, we still have one question left for you now, Kwinten. And the funny thing is that you may choose him yourself, because we pre-recorded 3 questions. We have one from Brandon Green. He is from BTC Inc. co-organizing the conference. We have Johns Bahari. He's from Bold.fun.
Oh, I know him.
And we have Lee Salminen, and he's from Bitcoin Jungle in Costa Rica.
Right. I will pick Johns then.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Of course.
Hi, my name is Johns Bahari from Bold Fun, Peak Shift, Hub 21, and I would like to know if you think Bitcoin is cool and sexy for the younger generations, like Gen Z and all that.
Yeah. Okay. I think Bitcoin is cool and sexy for the younger generation. Yeah, absolutely. So there is actually one. So the most important thing is that if you grow up in a world or where Bitcoin has always existed, then it's like a natural thing, basically. It's more natural than like the boomers for the boomers who like know their old ways and don't want anything to do with anything newfangled. It's actually one thing which the physicist Max Planck has like this saying where science advances one funeral at a time. So just the old people, like, they'll be dead soon, and then the new people who know nothing but the new thing, and then it's normal, basically. So yeah, absolutely. I think it's yeah.
And the thing is, I was thinking about it this morning. Funny enough, but I was like about hyper Bitcoinization and adoption, and but also politicians that are getting interested in Bitcoin. Maybe this generation isn't, but there's a generation, our generation, or indeed the Z generation, that are still growing up and still need to get to know this new technology. There are going to be a lot of orange-pilled people within those groups, and they're also going to be in our governments, right? So, yeah, sometimes I have those moments that I was like,
patience.
We just need to have a little bit patience, because it all will play out eventually. So.
Eventually, yes, but yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have any time pressure, Now we can stack sets cheap, right, Kwinten? So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Connetti il
It was great to have you
mondo.
here, Kwinten, again.
Likewise, it was super.
And hopefully we will have another beer at the conference. But
hopefully
we will give you some time to
or
decide.
some other time.
Yeah, some other time.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Can you maybe tell people where people can follow you? Share your NIP05, obviously, and maybe other websites.
NIP05. So I'm not on the website formerly known as Twitter anymore, but I am on Noster. So my NIP05 is KiwiDB. So that's KIWIIDB at getalby.com. You can also find me on GitHub on the same handle, github.com/KiwiDB. Or on my own website, kwintendebakker.com. That's
where also
that's
people can find your thesis if they're interested.
That's right. It's also there.
Yeah, it's also there. Indeed.
Cool, man.
Awesome. Thanks again. And thanks to everybody else who's listening, of course, and thanks to all members participating in the Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. It was busy again, right, Steph? And of course, thanks to everyone helping to connect the world with us. So if you like our content, then please support us in our mission and visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can also donate and subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform. We need you to complete our mission, Connect the World. So keep those nodes running, sats flowing, and rings burning. And see you all next week on the same Lightning channel. Namaste, Kwinten.
Namaste, guys. Until next time.